We've looked at the best minigames in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and loads of you guys told me how much you hate the minigames. There's even more minigames in Rebirth than the entire Final Fantasy VII. I do think some should have been trimmed out. If you prefer something more positive, there's a link to my favourite minigames at the top here, but here are the top 8 minigames I dislike the most, or the ones that may have drove me crazy going for that 100% completion.
Are you okay? Hey, are you okay?
Number 8. Playing the piano. I was a bit mixed on whether to include this one because I think Final Fantasy has the greatest soundtracks in gaming, so getting to recreate this music with an in-game piano is awesome in concept. But for me this was by far the hardest minigame. You can earn S ranks based on your performance, but you'll only need A rank for that platinum trophy, and trying to hit all those notes with one analog stick is hard enough, never mind 2 at the same time. I found it challenging to focus on both inputs at once, and the piece 2 legs, nothing to it, took me hours and hours of practice to just scrape an A rank. I'm in no rush to do that again, I suck at this.
Yeah, don't quit your day job.
Quickie trying to grow the channel, cover lots of RPGs, and if you consider subscribing or liking the video, it would be a huge help, thank you. Number 7. The shooting range in Costa del Sol. It was a pain in the arse. These days I much prefer aiming in first-person shooters with keyboard and mouse, so trying to complete the shooting range with analog sticks and no aim assist felt pretty horrible. Overall it felt a bit basic, but luckily getting the high scores wasn't too hard. Number 6. Crunch Off. I actually really like the squats minigame and its banging music in Remake. But come Rebirth, we got Crunch Off, or sit-ups, which are the evolution of the squat minigame, and it's just way more frustrating with extra button prompts that mess with your flow. I really hate the addition of green prompts that require you to hold a shoulder button down halfway, till you're prompted to then press the button down fully. I had to maintain intense focus on this one, and it would suck losing by 1 point. Not to mention every time you do crunch off, the direction of button inputs reverse. Just why would the devs do this?
Yeah, keep it up!
You're killing it.
Number 5. Glide to Chocobo. There's a few flying courses in Cosmo Canyon for your Chocobo. I found it all really finicky diving and gliding trying to get the perfect balance to solve through all of the scorings, and you'll need to hit every scoring for the top rewards. One of the courses I must have retried about 50 times just because I wasn't perfect and lacked a tiny bit of height for the final scorings. It was so frustrating. Number 4. Moogle Mischief. While this one wasn't that difficult, it just felt like a chore with every open world region having a Moogle Emporium to complete. Basically you round up 5 Moogles and awkwardly nudge them into their home, as if they were cattle. That's while avoiding obstacles and the Moogle spells. Get hit by too many of these and you'll have to start from scratch. It just doesn't play that well. Trying to nudge the Moogles to their home is really awkward and janky. It reminds me of some of the very worst quests in MMORPGs where you'll have to return things like sheep back to their pens.
Thanks so much!
I like that the Mog Houses are identical to the original in Final Fantasy VII, but I'm not sure I like how the Moogles have been redesigned in Remake and Rebirth. Moogles have generally always been pretty cute, not nightmare fuel. Number 3. Cactuar Crush. These were the combat trials for Yuffie and Aerith where you'll need to kill loads of different Cactuars really fast, while dodging all their attacks and swapping between a light and dark aura to exploit their weaknesses. I didn't find Yuffie's Cactuar Crush trials so bad, but I really struggled with Aerith's. I eventually swapped out my equipment and came up with strategies for dealing with the different types of Cactuar, but I really didn't enjoy this one, despite its awesome metal soundtrack.
Get wrecked! How you like this?
Number 2. So in order to capture a lot of the game's Chocobos, you need to take part in a stealth minigame. This means slowly sneaking behind boxes and obstacles, working your way to a Chocobo to capture it. It was always a slog, and while these segments weren't that challenging, I just think this stealth minigame is the lamest way possible to capture a Chocobo. I even prefer Final Fantasy VIII's stupid Choco whistle system. I hope at the very least we see the Chocobo breeding system return in part 3.
Yeah! Come on, y'all. Let's go bag us a Chocobo.
Number 1, the minigame I disliked the most was Cait Sith's box throwing segments. It was clanky and messy, boxes wouldn't go where they were supposed to, incredibly frustrating throwing these boxes over and over again, but worst of all, this mandatory Cait Sith segment replaced getting to explore the real Shinra mansion and its haunting atmosphere with mysteries to uncover like in the original. Instead, we're working through these abandoned labs.
Ah, the place it could have been. Tears me up inside.
And in between these box segments was honestly the hardest part of all of hard mode, where you'll need to fight 2 educators with Cait Sith. That's the scale type enemies. Kind of ironic that a pair of scales are poorly balanced. Even Sephiroth has nothing on these educators.
Is this not a bit much, sir?
Which minigames did you hate the most, or which one did you struggle with? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see the minigames I like the most, there's a link up here. Peace for now.